Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Like I mentioned in one of my shorts, I have joined Artfight once again, and this will be the first of two parts, depending on how well this does, in which I will take you through my journey of making art for this event. But that's not all. This year I also came up with this bingo card to make it more interesting, so let's go over that real quick. First I tried to think of things to challenge myself to draw something that I usually don't go for, like ships or real animals. I also made this one challenge for myself to just hit random character and draw whatever it gives me. But the bingo card also includes stuff that I usually draw, like lots of bust shots and even some friendly fire. I will get into more detail about the other prompts when we get there. The days before Artfight I was so hyped that I legit felt like I was going crazy. I just wanted to get started already, but since making art before the event starts is against the rules, I had to think of other things to keep me occupied until then. That's when I decided to look at some profiles and bookmark the characters that I want to draw first. I looked for quite some time but eventually landed on this guy named Conan Furba that was made by Owly Jules. The second I saw him I knew that this character was right up my alley. He's just so cute, and as soon as the countdown ended I got to drawing. Let's have a look at that. His bio reads the following. He is an awakened lamb who thinks he's a wolf. He was raised by his two moms werewolves in the Canis village, who told him his whole life that he just took after his great aunt, who was a sheepdog. They were very overprotective, so he ran away to attend the adventuring school to prove them that he was a big strong wolf now. He's a barbarian with a big positive outlook, but he can be short-tempered. Reading that immediately shattered my perception of him, because I thought he would be a shy little lamb, and not the fighter type. Oh, how looks can be deceiving. He is from a D&D campaign, and I would actually like to know how he would behave in a game. Not to pick favorites already, but this guy definitely is a top contender for the spot of coolest character I've ever drawn from Artfight. Honestly, for a moment I thought about drawing him twice along the way, but I didn't want the video to get too repetitive, so this will have to do. In the end I was very happy with my drawing, even though I kept the forest background quite simple. So let's just have a look at the bingo card and see what I was able to mark off with my first drawing. Conan is a male, so I crossed that off first. And it was also a fully shaded attack from my bookmarks. In my mind he is also a silly little dude which I love to draw during Artfight. On to the next one. The next attack was of two characters. First I found Bumblebee's Cookie Run persona, which I fell in love with. I don't know much about Cookie Run aside that it's a gacha game, but all the characters are pretty simple designs, so I decided to look for another person's Cookie Run OC to spice things up. In the end I decided on Pink Lemonade Cookie by Mizu Lemon. She has two forms, but I went with the first one. Scribble Cookie only has one form, and sadly doesn't have anything in its bio aside from being the artist's Cookie Run self-insert. But I can work with that. I kept everything quite simple, so what do you think? I hope I did them justice. This is probably also a good time to mention that all the artists whose OCs I drew will be in the description below. So if you see something you like or want to attack them, then go ahead. Their stuff is totally worth checking out. The bingo card was getting a lot fuller by now, as you can see. I was able to draw someone's persona and got to try something new. That was a success in my book. Naturally, I was curious about what other people were drawing and how Artfight was going for them. And to my surprise, one of the artists I was already following also was joining this year. The third drawing was of two OCs by Plague on Instagram. I decided to look through the characters and liked Lily's design the best. And when I read this, I immediately knew what I had to do. After all, I remembered that a ship was on the bingo card, and I mean, how can you not draw them together? So I got to drawing, and I decided to draw them cuddling in bed. I'm not exactly sure how they would do that, because realistically speaking, she would probably put out his flame, but whatever. I was going to draw them being cute if it's the last thing I did. While making this video, I decided to reread the description of Lily again, and I realized that I made a mistake. She's supposed to have gills on her neck and no nose, so sorry about that. She's an aquatic being after all, so it makes sense. I don't know how I missed that detail. Sulfur, however, is made of candle wax and has a flame as a head. Plague also wrote in the description that he likes to eat charcoal, which is super silly. Drawing the two didn't take as long as I thought it would, so I focused on the background some more. All in all, the background still feels flat, which shows me that I still need to work on drawing environments, but what else is new? On the windowsill I put the candle from this image and a little crystal to wrap my team. So far, all the people I have attacked were from Team Fossil, and I told myself before the event began that I would incorporate crystals somewhere along the line. And that left me with this drawing. After coming back to the bingo card to cross off the crystal part, I actually noticed that I've gotten my first bingo. That is because I had received my first comment on one of my attacks this year by Miso Melon, the owner of Pink Lemonade Cookie. But that wasn't all. That's when someone found my video about Artfight on TikTok and decided to attack me. Of course I couldn't let that slide and snooped around Jususama's profile to see what I could draw as my first revenge this year. In the end I decided on this character named Honey because I think horses are super silly. And at first, everything was okay. I was essentially just drawing a normal horse from reference, but once I got to the neck, I began to struggle. I realized that I would have to somehow make the horse head fit a human neck. If I had kept the neck like a horse, it probably wouldn't have looked like a furry. This whole time I couldn't stop thinking about how this just looks like a more realistic BoJack Horseman. And then I couldn't take it seriously anymore. Another thing that also wasn't helping was the fact that I just drew my human manga style eyes on the head thinking it would be okay. It essentially looked like this, and I had no idea how to fix it. So I began to look at some furry artists who know what they're doing when they're drawing horses, and in the end I ended up with this shape for the eye. Drawing the horse part was fun, but being able to make it anthro is a whole different story. I failed a little bit, but that's okay. After all, Artfight is just for fun.
Peter, the horse is here.
Oh yeah.
Let's check in on the bingo card again and see if we can get another bingo. By now I had done my first revenge, and also was able to cross off the furry square. I also got attacked, so I had 2 more bingos. Then my second attack came in, and it was once again of my OC Zelly that I made for a D&D campaign that my friends and I never ended up doing. Whoops. I'll definitely get to it in the future though. This sick piece of art was drawn by Crumbs3, the same person that made Pink Lemonade Cookie. It's always cool to see how other artists draw her, so I was so happy. That's also when I noticed that little hit random square and decided to give that a go. I ended up getting this character called Honey Bear, and it's an OC from a web series called Chicken Nugget. Personally, I've never seen or heard of that, but that wasn't going to stop me. I wanted the guy to look like a teddy bear, so I drew him in this waving pose with his legs to the side. Since the description doesn't say much about his personality, I thought that this would be a safe choice. This drawing also didn't take me very long, since it was considered a simple shaped character. And I already knew from the beginning how I wanted the pose to look, so there really isn't much to say here. The end result is quite simple, and in total I drew this in 1 hour. By now I felt like ending this video with possibly the biggest drawing I had made for Artfight yet. So I looked for an OC that I could draw, and oh boy did I find one. This is Yona the Lemon Shark by this username. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. But this character just scratches an itch for me. Remember in the beginning of the video where I said that Conan might be my favorite character design so far? Well, move over little guy, cause Yona is here to stay. I immediately knew that I wanted to draw her at the beach, because most of her references showed her in a bikini. This might also sound a little strange for me to say, but since most people watching this are probably artists as well, you will probably understand what I mean. This OC just looks like it tastes good. In a way, it just reminds me of those gummy sharks, and I would imagine that she tastes like that as well, just lemon flavored. It's probably just because of the color, but that's beside the point. I wanted to also give her a floaty to fit the summer vibe, and a pair of sunglasses. The hands were a struggle, so let's just not talk about it, okay? This type of anthro character was just what I needed to practice these kinds of artworks. She looks very human, but also has these animal features like the snout, that's actually a lot simpler to draw than I thought it would be. Despite that though, I eventually started to get impatient and just wanted this to be done already. It wasn't even that I didn't like it, or that it was too far out of my comfort zone. I just have the attention span of a gnat, I think. But here's the final result. I'm not mad at it at all. And with that, I was back to my final look at my bingo card. But before we get into that, I want to mention that I have a few links to my socials in the description. If you want to keep up with me on other platforms, that is. Also, you can subscribe to not miss the second part of the series. Alright, let's see what we ended up with. I was able to check off this Friendly Fire on the Beach episode boxes, but I wasn't sure about the full background one. Would you say that this is a full background? In my mind, I could have put way more detail into it, so I left it blank for now. In the end, I was able to cross off most things from the bingo card, which was supposed to last me until the end of the month. That's why I'll be doing a new one for part 2 of this challenge. And I will challenge myself even more in the next video. For that, I would love to hear the prompts you think would be fun to see. So just leave a comment and I'll probably put it in the next video. As of making this video, Team Crystal is ever so slightly behind at the moment, which has been a trend since the beginning, meaning I have to lock in and make more art. Stay tuned for that, and I hope you liked this video. Take care!